it's the last few days of the year. We're almost at the end of 2022. Surely there can't be any more like horrible or good surprises at this point.
Ugh.
It's like a time. It's a time of reflection, surely. And I was gonna say, like, what's been our best and worst experiences this year, like with movies and TV shows.
My
Best is gonna be a
gosh.
small list, I should imagine.
So She-Hulk is in the running for worst. It's gotta be.
Oh yeah.
Rings
That
of
and
Power's
Willow.
in there too. Well, get out of here, Willow!
haven't
Like, what
haven't
are you
seen that
doing here?
I know because it came so late in the game. It's like you keep forgetting about it, but it was a real thing, Mauler, that you experienced.
Oh,
There
that
are
one
too
was
many
tough.
I hate you reminding me of She-Hulk. That ending, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like, what is happening? I'm talking to the Kevin Feige bot. It's like, yeah, but now we fixed that issue. You can't come back here. It's like, okay.
I think
Like, what?
honestly, like 2022, I think we might have witnessed the downfall of the MCU.
Yep.
I honestly
yeah.
think this is like the year that it all came crashing down. Like we kind of knew this was coming. We've warned people. The problems were already brewing, but this is the year that it all came to fruition. And by God, it's been awful.
Dude,
like,
a bit of the
pretty
grim
much
reality is
unrelentingly shit.
if we were given the task of you need to destroy the MCU over the course of a phase, and you need to look like you're trying, or in some way, you need to look like you're not trying to destroy it. I'd be like, I wouldn't have made it this bad, is what I was going to say. I'd be like, this is too obvious. If this was the plan, right, and they laid out all these stories of Phase 4, I'd be like, guys, you're kind of letting them know what your plan is of destroying the MCU, obviously. So you need to roll it back a bit, otherwise they're going to figure it out pretty easily. Like, so I guess that's what I'm trying to get at, is like, we've talked about it before, but there's a clip on EFAP from like, years ago where I say, really, the only way that they could annihilate the MCU is by doing a series of terrible stories all in a row that like knock out all the characters and the world building and the general plot line until you don't even care that an Avengers movie's coming around. We are there. That is it. They did it.
Yeah, we did it. High fives all around.
It takes a lot of failure. Like, that's a lot of variables that have to go wrong. All of these individuals creators that have to do a shit job.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like it's like a freight train, like it's really heavily laden, moving at high speed. Like it's going to take a lot to slow it down and derail it, and that's what it is. It's like a gradual process of like failure, like disaster after disaster, and yeah, I don't think they could have done it more effectively than they have. It's weird. Like it's like they've set out to sabotage their own brand. I can't.
We're now at the point where even like the normal movie goes like, I don't even know if I want to watch the next one. Like,
they don't even. A lot of them don't even know which one the next one is. When you say Ant-Man, and then you say, "Do you know how many Ant-Mans there are?" They'd be like, "Is this the fourth one?
Yeah,
the second one. It's like the Wasp. I don't know. What's even happening about Black Adam? Was that in the MCU? I wonder if the average person would say yes.
Yeah, it's like I guess so. Yeah.
Why not?
Now what happened? There was too much. Well, for one, identity politics. There was too much corporatism, not enough oversight. There's too many cooks. There's too many. I said this last live stream, but there's too many people who just know how to like microwave shit that are considered cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Who have no knowledge of the comic books or anything. It's just basic Wikipedia knowledge. They've butchered good stories, even modern good stories. They skipped all the great ones because they had to get past. They took their like an OG character like Thor and utterly destroyed him, destroyed him in the last one. It was such a joke. And by the time it's all over, it is dead. They still make money though. So they still think the bottom line, people still think they're doing good. So they're going to continue on this path. But we know as fans, as people who have knowledge of this source material, be it cursory or whatever, or if people have read the comic books, we know that, oh, this is dead. This is dead. It's going to just flounder on for a couple more years. And then they're going to have to do a hard reset. And that's probably what the Secret Wars is going to do.
Yeah. I think you're right. And then the hopefully we're seeing the end of it coming now. We've seen a large drain on the box office for them. Well, they have to be looking at Avatar, being like, wait a minute, how do we get that?
How do you do that?
Star Wars is a television property now.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
it's not healthy enough to go in cinemas.
Are we getting a Taika Waititi Star Wars film next? Is that happening next?
That can't be happening after Love and Thunder.
I hope it is
Surely
after Love
not.
and Thunder.
Jesus.
Disney fired their CEO in the middle of the night on a Sunday, which I will never get tired of saying.
Yeah.
Are you trying to imply they have no clue what they're doing with Star Wars next?
None.
You understand, like Andor having like some critical reception that's positive, but having
Yeah.
less than stellar views in any way, shape, or form is only confusing information to them. Just like, what are we supposed to do now?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
what is the correct answer? What a mess Star Wars is in.
It's
yeah?
a huge mess, and the amount of money they paid for Star Wars, they have lost in streaming.
I can believe that. Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Also got some numbers that I put up at the end of my live stream yesterday. The box office total with Avatar for this year is $7 billion. That is the worst box office. We won't count COVID, so forget.
They don't have that excuse anymore either.
No.
No,
they don't.
but forget 2020 and 20.
Oh, gotcha.
Even 21, where there was more. We had a full slate of movies this year. It was $7 billion. That is the lowest box office since 2001. And if you adjust it for inflation, it goes to 30 years.
Oh,
30
shit.
Yeah.
effing years. They're screwed.
And
It
it's
has
hard
been
to
garbage
run-
though, and they've brought it on themselves. They've 100% brought this on themselves, and I've got absolutely no sympathy for them.
It's hard to run excuses too because you're looking at stuff like Maverick is over there. How can you make the argument anymore? You're like, oh,
It was just remembering what the wheel was. It's like,
Yeah,
it's got a wheel. It rolls.
it's like we've taken the horse, we've brought it to the trough. It's like, just dunk your head in there, you dick. Like, how difficult is it?
well, yeah. You were saying about the cooks analogy, right? It's like they like overcooked mac and cheese in the my,crowave and they tried to take it out, and they go, oh, just so hot, and it slaps onto the floor. They're like,
Mayonnaise
oh,
instead of milk in it or something.
yeah. It's like it's astounding how badly they've done with all these IPs. And I guess it's just unfortunate for them that so many of these creators just don't give a.
No, because the people who do have talent are getting drowned out, driven out.
Yeah.
And it's because of the rules that they have placed on themselves with this DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity.
Oh, and don't forget as well, like all the action scenes are done like years before they even start filming or whatever. Like that's all just and there's so many directors that are like, no, they have to. The action scenes are important, like really important. They represent like action from characters, all of that. I need to make that the way that I want it to, and it's like no. Like, oh, okay. And so the more integrity you have, there is a filter to getting into making MCU projects. Which is and then you need people like maybe Sam Raimi who are like, okay, if I do this, what am I getting? Like, can I get access to actually making something eventually? Which I'm hoping we'll see down the line.
But even like good directors are going into streaming, right? The few good directors we have are starting to shift into making TV. Like even I think Quentin Tarantino's talking about making a TV show, whether you like him or not. Like he's one of the few good ones left. Nolan's still out there, but
under the voice, right? That's like what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's
and
where
all of those directors and writers and stuff with voices, a lot of them are shitting on Marvel right now. Like, just
as they should.
This ain't storytelling. This is garbage. This is like slime that's just dribbling out.
It's like this horrible, like sinister net that just like is like snared Hollywood, and it's just pulling all movies down because it's like nothing else can get out from under it. Like Top Gun Maverick is like probably the only example where we've just had a non-superhero movie this year that was just a big crowd-pleasing film that everyone seemed to enjoy.
Oh, that's what I mean, dude. We're at the point, as you just mentioned, with like the horse examples. It's like it's all there. You can take it. You just have to try. Nobody's like willing. They're just gonna make them superhero movies, right? That's what we're gonna do.
I was so even to say like maybe try a little less hard, almost like keep it simple. Go back to basics.
Oh, I wish.
Don't do like, oh, this has 17 dimensions or universes or we don't know what we call it because we don't talk to each other. So how about we just have a little villain that just wants to destroy a city and not the quantum verse, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, like, it made more sense in Pink Panther Strikes Again. Dreyfus is gonna hit a laser on the city and make it disappear unless kill Cluzo.
Look at how much we enjoyed No Way Home. Where like it basically comes down to Peter Parker fighting it out with the Green Goblin. Just a straight up fist fight.
Yeah.
Easy,
What it comes down
simple.
to, yeah.
Like, but there's so much emotion invested in it. There's a character history there. You know, you totally get why he's doing it, and like that's fine. That's all we needed. But like,
Yeah.
why is it
Because
so
okay.
hard to do that?
Daredevil set up season like the Netflix series set up something for the future. You could actually just build on that. That's all you need to do is build on that. They're like, nope, we're gonna reset everything, recast Karen Page and all that. It's like, oh, what? You're okay. Oh, it's just the dumbest
How
thing.
long until we have to do that?
Daredevil Born Again. I'm gonna be furious when that comes out.
Everyone's going to be furious.
Yeah.
Poor Charlie
man.
Cox, because he's got to try and sell it, but he just seems like Simon Pegg in that car claiming that
Yeah.
She-Hulk was the bomb. You know,
Which
just like
is
gun
what-
to the head. Like,
That's what he has to do now, because he's, you know, what are you going to do? Shit on them when you're the main star? It's difficult to do that. We have
Well,
very few examples of that.
I get the impression that he cares about the Daredevil character and he wants to see him on screen again. He wants to give him like a path forward. And
Yeah,
this,
man,
I guess, is the only way to do it. Like, probably being in She-Hulk was part of that. It was like, well, you've just got to endure this indignity to make this show happen. And God bless him, he's going for it, but I don't think it's going to pay off for him.
No, I don't think so at all. And he had to defend the She-Hulk stuff too. You know, just like, yeah, it's fun, it's good, it's interesting, and I'm really glad to be a part of this. And we're all just sitting there like, oh god.
I think
Somebody help him.
She-Hulk, like, there's been bigger failures, obviously. Like, Rings of Power was like just a bigger disappointment because it was part of like something much more important. But like, I think
so
She-Hulk will be,
expensive.
yeah,
Yeah,
She-Hulk will be like the nadir of like Western storytelling almost.
Well, yeah,
Like,
She-Hulk's
God.
funny because of how bad the CG was and the animations and stuff could almost distract people from how hideous the writing was. Like people were talking about how bad she looked and stuff. It's like, guys, have you been listening to what they say in it? Did you
I
catch
mean,
the
if
part
not,
where
I don't
she's
blame you, but you
trying
should.
to shit on her trolls online and she's gonna beat them up if she sees them in real life? It's like, oh my god.
Intelligentsia. It's like,
Stop.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't that just absolutely define a strong woman?
When
By
she's
letting
concerned with
trolls
them
get to her on
online
the internet, she
trolls.
wants to beat them up. Okay, that's a lot of strength there. Well done.
So, just yeah, like stuff like that, obviously just absolute trash. But then you had things like Rings of Power, which like represents a much more how can I put it, like a more respected world that's been created by people like Peter Jackson on screen. You know, obviously the
Tolkien-
books.
Yeah, that was a scalp. Hollywood wanted that scalp. That was straight. That's it. That is something they wanted to subvert forever. The activists have been wanting to subvert it for decades because it's traditional storytelling. So his beliefs are antithetical to anything Hollywood believes. They actively hate what that man believed. So they want to adapt him or pretend to be all reverent towards him. Bullshit. They were
I don't know,
lying from the
Gary.
beginning.
I feel like we should just give him a little update for them modern audiences, you know? Just give him a little update. That's
Yeah,
all we
the
need.
necessary redress, Mahler. Necessary
Yes.
redress was the
How
claim.
long are they going to sell that shit when in like 50 years from now people are still showing their kids Lord of the Rings, not Rings of Power
Yeah.
season 17 or whatever? It's
Well,
like-
I just ultimately it's great. It's so satisfying to see this stuff play out because they can control the output of their studio. They can try and control the mainstream media narrative as much as they want. The one thing they can't control is what people actually choose to watch.
Yep.
And ultimately, people are drawn to quality, and they're going to go back to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy when we are old men with grandchildren around us. Like that's what we'll be showing them. Nobody is going to be showing them Rings of Power. That will be forgotten in the sands of time, and that's the truth of the matter. The market decides what's successful, not the
curious how-
media and not the studio.